With little room left for argument, the new angle may face prejudice from the mainstream scientific community. The eccentric ideas are controversial at best, but perhaps new researchers see something that others may have missed. After all, the idea that Giza is from an ancient pre-flood civilization is nothing new.
The only other structure that can measure up to the Great Pyramid of Giza is the Great Pyramid of Cholula in Mexico, which, according to legend, was built by a giant that survived the flood. Also, after the pre-flood conquest of Ireland, the myth states that a friend of Noah's outcast son survives the Great Flood, eventually going on to build Stonehenge. Now, these stories attribute megastructures to pre-flood humans, meaning that Giza may have been founded by similar beings dating back to 10,500 BC.
The Great Pyramid of Cholula is referenced by the Aztecs to be the product of an antediluvian civilization. And even more interesting is their creation myth that not only agrees with the event of biblical flood, but also mentions all major planetary cataclysms leading up until doomsday.
Mesoamerican civilizations believe that there were 5 major creations, each after a great cataclysmic event, with the 4th destruction being an earth-wide flood. So if we study the first 3 destructions, we may get a better understanding of the Mesoamerican take on pre-flood civilization.
The 5th and final destruction is said to be by an earth element. This is a little scary because both the modern Abrahamic faiths and ancient pagan texts point to the end of time scenario where Earth is utterly destroyed by earthquakes. So it appears that there is a general consensus, both old and new, that we are living between the prophesied 4th and 5th destructions of Earth.
The first destruction of Earth occurs by wild beasts. The second is destruction by fire. The third by wind. Then, of course, water and earth. Here you can see the first 3 destructions occurring before the flood. After the Earth recovers each time, a new empire emerges in a different location of the world. Therefore, it would be reasonable to say that each kingdom should have a record of the previous civilization.
There's an account on behalf of the Academy of Athens, and it is the only historical record we have. In the dialogue, Plato, Socrates, and a handful of other Greeks discuss Solon's recount of 9,000-year-old Atlantean history. Solon, the politician, had journeyed to the Egyptian temple in Neve, and there had received the ancient knowledge from a high priest.